Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We are today going to be looking at some of the top PvP decks and looking at some basic gameplay of them as well, so you can kind of get the idea about how they're played. Gonna be honest, obviously I'm not a top 5 player in the world. I'm decent at Rumble, and I'll be able to help you get to a good level and also show you some of the decks that work really well. These are my 5 best leaders. I'm going to show you them one after the other. They're going to be a random game that I've played. I'm just going to kind of talk over the game and talk about the win conditions. But I hope you enjoy. I hope you kind of learn something. And this is, for the rest of Season 3, hopefully gives you kind of some, I guess, salt. What is salt? What have I just said? Some salt? Some material. Some material to climb with. Who says some salt to climb with? I guess you could, like, salt your... Anyway. On to the video. Okay, guys, as you can see on screen, we're going to start with Emperor Thaurissan. Not necessarily my number 1 deck. I would say Emperor Thaurissan is like 3 or 4, maybe. It really depends. But I do think he's pretty solid. I think he was a good addition to the meta. I think releasing Emperor Thaurissan has given us something new to play with. It's not like a Sylvanas where it's unplayable. He's got a unique playstyle, got unique decks. And the deck that I'm running here is... It's got its weaknesses, but we take advantage of Emperor Thaurissan's passive with almost every single mini that we have. In fact, I think every single mini that we run in this deck takes advantage of Emperor Thaurissan's passive. You'll notice in the actual footage, I'm accidentally running the wrong Prowler talent, which is perfectly fine. You do want to run the Stealth Prowler talent or the Prowler talent that deals damage to opponents above 75% HP, but either way. So, of course, Alterac Valley... This is the level that I'm sure most of you were sick of back in the day, because these chests used to spawn instantly. Now these chests spawns 15 seconds in, so you've got a bit of time to set up. In general, what you'll find people do is just send their Kobold Miner, or they'll Dark Iron Miner. They'll just start trying to get some mining going on in these side lanes here. But I'm not going to talk too much about the minutiae, because I didn't exactly play these games particularly well. What I'm really going to focus on is I'm just going to be focusing on purely Emperor Thaurissan and his win condition. So Emperor Thaurissan's win condition is this. This is the primary win condition for Emperor Thaurissan in almost every situation. And Alterac Valley, obviously, you benefit from sending ranged minis over the bridge. That helps you massively. You can see we're dealing burning damage to the Hogger, and also we dealt with the Prowler here. But the majority of Emperor Thaurissan's win condition is essentially dropping Emperor Thaurissan and then dropping an Earth Elemental on the base. That is essentially 90% of what you're going to do with Emperor Thaurissan. And we're going to do it again once here. This guy's a little annoying because he's got a Huntress, but we don't care too much about losing like a random Griffin Rider to a Huntress. We are just looking to get damage down with our Earth Elemental, and then obviously just use Emperor Thaurissan as kind of like a driver for damage on the base using burning opportunities. We don't ever really even need to get Emperor Thaurissan to the base. We are really just looking for him to get a hubris enhanced Earth Elemental onto the base. Now, I'm not playing this game fantastically, by the way. I've obviously taken loads of terrible trades, but the fact that I'm showing you lots of terrible trades, yet I'm still able to get some pretty solid wins, it shows you that this deck has got that kind of strength. And that's exactly kind of what I want to showcase with this deck. It's like, yes, okay, we are taking terrible trades, we're not exactly setting up perfectly, but the fact that you can just drop Emperor Thaurissan and then an Earth Elemental and it will chip away at the base, and for the most part, unless your enemy's got an immediate like elemental damage response, you're going to be fine. You're going to kind of get away with it. And I'm going to do it once more here again. Now we've got a huge amount of minis on the map. We finally took some good trades, which is great for us. We're using a lot of minis in the game that can generally trade effectively. So like Murloc Tidehunters, Griffin Rider, Prowler, these things can always usually trade really nicely upwards. And with that, we get the burning onto the base, and we end up getting the win quite nicely. So yeah, it's a deck that frankly can work really well. And I think is one of the stronger decks in the meta. You don't have to run this version specifically. Like, you can put a safe pilot in, you can put deep breath in if you've got it, right? But it just wanted to showcase that the kind of the concept of Emperor Thaurissan plus Earth Elemental as an absolute core works really nicely as a win condition, and you can usually climb the ladder quite effectively with it. So that's the first deck that I want to show you. Let's move on to the next one. Right, the next deck that I want to show you is Rend. Now, this is not going to be the best showcase of Rend ever because the guy is a little bit lower level than me. But I just want to show you that Harpies, this is a deck from, by the way, this is a deck from MJM. He runs, or is like a big contributor, probably the main guy behind the Method Warcraft Rumble site. Really great stuff on there. I'm actually going to link it in the description below. Really great stuff on the website, loads of meta discussions, etc. But this is MJM's Rend deck, and it is really interesting. It's got a lot of map control, good tower pressure, and Harpies, which I think are criminally underrated, but because of the popularity of Chain Lightning, it's difficult to make Harpies work. But with Rend, you don't actually necessarily lose anything by playing Harpies because it's an equal gold trade with Chain Lightning. So you can kind of get away with playing Harpies in this sense. So with Rend, the win condition is just mostly good map control. You've got Exhumed Skeletons, and you've got the well pegs as well as Harpies to threaten the towers. You've got a lot of responsiveness. It's about being responsive, getting Rend to the enemy base because Rend is difficult to kill with these particular towers, and then just, you know, controlling the map first and foremost. So, yeah, we're going to kind of get into this one here. If I can find... Yeah, we go. So, I actually was AFK at the start of this, and I was like, oh gosh, okay. So, a good response to Prowler pretty much all the time is going to be well pegs. It's an even trade, and then your well pegs stay available. Now, I could have dropped a Quillbore behind this... Huntress, but I didn't do that. I couldn't be bothered. So I just ended up doing that with the Harpies coming through in the end. And as well as to protect the Harpies from the tower, I'm also going to drop the Exhumed Skeletons because they take a long time to get through. And as you can see, that's already able to take this tower, which has dealt a significant chunk of damage to the enemy base. Okay, lesson learnt here. Coming in hot, Safe Pilot versus Dark Spear Troll, one level below with Big Bad Voodoo. Terrible, terrible trade. Even the burn couldn't get the job done. So, lesson learnt, you can't just drop a Safe Pilot if you've got coming in hot on a Dark Spear Troll anymore because it just won't kill it. And turns out that that's a terrible trade for ourselves. But we have managed to get Rend going down the center of the map. We've got complete control of the gold. And we are now just going to drop another set of well pegs on these guys' heads, followed by yet another Rend. Like, if I could just get another Rend going in this situation, that's fine. Why am I dropping Safe Pilot there? Because I had the well pegs coming down, so it was just going to be a distraction for my well pegs to guarantee the kill. And now that we have Rend, we're also going to send our Harpies over, and then we're also going to start pushing onto the base and trying to just get a bit of damage down here. Now, he's going to actually use Blizzard on me, but I'm not that bothered because, again, the point of this deck is just to be a nuisance, control the map. We take another chunk of his HP by taking the tower down, and we're going to get another Rend down as well. If you don't have a good answer to Rend, it can be quite difficult to make, to sort it out. But I haven't, this guy's not got a particularly great answer to Rend because you really have, the best answer for Rend is Quillbore plus something. A lot of people have been taking Quillbores out of their deck recently, but I still quite like the idea of keeping Quillbore, and it's a very flexible unit. And if you can actually somehow get Harpies onto the base, especially with the poison fangs, they do end up doing a huge amount of damage. Sorry that I'm not speaking properly today, guys. Goodness gracious, I have slow brain at the moment. Let's jump on to the next deck. All right, I'm going to show you, now I'm going to be playing Maiev. Remembered her name, Maiev. I think Maiev is still one of the best in the game in terms of just putting pressure on the enemy. We are very good at taking towers with Maiev, very responsive on the map. It's just a good deck all round. In this situation, I'm playing Cairn, so I know that Cairn's primary kind of thing is basically just playing Dark Spear Troll and hoping that you don't have an answer to it. In this case, I did have an answer to it. It was well pegs plus the execute, which is essentially what I had to kind of secure that tower. And you can see here that we've taken the tower, we've dealt a chunk of damage to the enemy base. We're not that bothered about the Cairn. It's going to deal a bit of damage to us, but we are mostly concerned with just protecting this tower if we can. In terms of Cairn, a good answer in this deck would be well pegs, but in my case, I'm just going to drop a Maiev behind. Now, I'm going to let him retake this tower. Why am I going to let him retake this tower? Well, I thought I was going to let him retake this tower. Apparently, I shouldn't. That was a complete waste of a Safe Pilot, by the way. We really didn't need to do that. Retaking this tower is because I wanted to do that with the well pegs. I wanted his Dark Spear Troll to walk past the tower, and then I could drop the well pegs on the Cairn and the Dark Spear Troll, and then that would have been enough to kind of take their tower down, and it would have been fine. I just don't know why I dropped the Safe Pilot. Actually, the more that I play with Safe Pilot, the more that I realize that I don't particularly like the unit that much anymore, especially with coming in hot. It definitely has its uses, but yeah, I'm not sold on Safe Pilot as being a super strong thing. So in this situation, we've now got 2 Maievs, so we're actually just going to go for the Execute with the Bloodlust on the base, which essentially finishes the game off for us. Good matchup, obviously Cairn quite slow, but it just shows you just how reactive and how quick you can be on the map with a good Maiev deck. Let's go to the next one. Right, we're going to do the Jaina deck now. This is a deck that you will have seen maybe on the video this week. I have just switched one thing up. I've instead gone for Deep Breath rather than Execute because it's just a little bit more flexible. But the deck plays pretty much the same way. Just with Deep Breath, you can be a little bit more like, I can just throw this on whatever's kind of sort of shown my way. Now, in this case situation, I'm just going to Deep Breath over a couple of units and some towers. It's not the best because obviously it's not going to one-shot Emperor Thaurissan. He's a bit of a tank, but I got some damage on the tower. I got some damage on the base. That's perfectly fine. This guy's going straight for my base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle round to Jaina again and go for another Deep Breath. You want to deep breath down towards your target so that the up hits the stuff that you're kind of hoping will just get aimed at in like a secondary. And in this case, I was just hoping that we hit the tower after clearing out the units there, which is exactly what happened. He has got a level 10 Prowler, but a level 7 Griffin Rider, which is kind of crazy, by the way. That's a very, very high level Prowler and a kind of like a very under-leveled Griffin Rider, given how important Griffin Rider is in general. Now, he's gone for a level 10... Oh, he's got a level 10 Prowler because of Hubris, of course. Not actually got a level 10 Prowler. Gone for a level 10 Huntress here. Does a lot of damage to the base. Enough to put the tower down. But with a good and well-timed Chain Lightning, we actually are managing to get back into it and retake it. And you can see how low his tower is as well. So we always know that we have that tower as an option to take down, which we're going to go and try and do in just a moment. And you'll see here, there is the Huntress. We're going to drop a Deep Breath here, deal a lot of damage to the Huntress, deal a lot of damage to the Earth Elemental, and then we're going to try and maintain this tower. One of the things that you want to do on this map is while you're distracting at one tower, you want to try and put pressure on another tower. So in this case, you know, I can see him getting a lot of stuff kind of worked up defensively for this tower over here on the left. If you have the opportunity to do so, you should be looking to pressure out that tower on the... Sorry, this tower on the right. You should be looking to pressure out that tower on the left with as little units as you can. I do make a pretty solid defense. He's actually doing the same thing, but I'm going to drop a Ghoul. I love Ghoul, by the way. I think it's an absolutely excellent unit. Really, really fantastic. Should have held on to that... I always do this. I always kind of drop my Chain Lightning a little too early when I know there is a unit that it needs to be dealt with. In this case, obviously, it was the the well pegs. But in this case, you can see now I'm pressuring 2 towers at once. This is great. It's exactly where we want to be with this deck. We have a Ghoul with Armored, which is going to be able to tank that tower on the left-hand side for a very long time, and Jaina, which will deal a huge amount of damage. And then we're going to drop a Deep Breath to kind of take this tower down to a very low HP, get him down very low in terms of his base HP, and yeah, that's pretty easy, pretty simple win. Again, the win condition of this deck is very much control. With Deep Breath, it's a bit more chip damage as well. So you have the option of both control and chip damage with Deep Breath. That's why the benefit that it has over Execute obviously deals a little bit less damage overall. But it's just the benefit of this over Execute is that you can kind of clear minis on the map and also deal damage to the base. But obviously, if you don't have Deep Breath, then Execute works fine. And it's all about control with this particular deck. All right, and finally, it's going to be a Baron Rivendare deck. And this, I think, is a really, really strong deck in the current meta right now. Again, another one that I've picked up from my guild Honor Guards, some of the best players in the game. And this is versus quite a high-level Maiev player as well, so just worth taking into account. This guy's a pretty solid Maiev player. The whole point of this Baron deck is, again, very similar to our Jaina deck. It's all about control. I don't know why I'm doing that. I think if he drops he's actually not running the Mind talent. I don't know what he's running. He must be running the Fury talent. But nonetheless, we've already kind of set up a pretty extensive set of minis that need dealing with. One of the things that I'm getting used to, by the way, is still dealing with coming in hot versus Gnomish Cloaking Device. I keep forgetting that Gnomish Cloaking Device is a thing. And I'm often kind of dealing with safe pallets in completely the wrong way. Anyway. Again, primarily about control. The good thing about this, though, is that we always have that option for going for a tower. So in this situation, I'm like, okay, he's investing a lot into kind of just going for cycling and taking out the gold turrets. So what I've done here is I've gone for pressure on his tower. You can see that I'm going to take out Maiev with the well pegs. Maiev is the best target with well pegs. Generally, you want Maiev to be easy to take out if you've got like Whelpegs, and she usually is. So Whelpegs is like probably the best target for Maiev in this particular game. Now, he retakes the tower really quickly, but then we retake it back very quickly as well. And what you'll find in these situations is that, by the way, don't do that, Mike. I forgot that Maiev cleaved with her basic attacks. What you'll find in these situations is that the first person to take the tower is often the person to win in this meta, because unless you kind of are really good at retaking the tower and holding it, what you'll end up finding is that you take it, it's low HP, they take it, it's low HP, you take it back, it's low HP, they take it, it's low HP, and then it's just a cycle between that. That's why if you ever find yourself in this situation where you're kind of like fighting for a tower on the side, you should always be looking to like say, okay, I give up that tower, I'm going to try and do something else. Because if you're just fighting back and forth over the same tower, the person who ends up taking the tower first is usually the person that chunks enough base HP to become the problem. Now, what I could have done here is I really should have kept hold of Whelpegs, cycled them back out for Maiev, and I would have won this game a whole lot earlier. That didn't happen, and this game became way too close for absolutely no reason. He went for a mega defense here, and yeah, I essentially dropped the ball. If I just held on to my Whelpegs, it would have been a completely different story, but I didn't, so there you go. So we're going to drop a Griffin Rider here. Obviously, he has just used Execute and Bloodlust on it on my tower, so taking it very low, but we do actually take the tower in response by using the Whelpegs and the Skeletons, and we end up getting the win. Again, the whole point of this deck, control, take towers where you can with things like Whelpegs and Skeletons, and everything else is just kind of based around making sure the map flows and you take value trades, etc. But those are my top 5 decks in the meta right now. I think they're all really good. And I would say like the best are probably like Jaina, Maiev, and Baron, but I think Emperor Thaurissan's really good as well. And you guys should give it a go and see how you feel. I'll see you soon.